the third time already this season, we are locking horns with Bristol Rovers. The prize for tonight's winners, a spot in the semi-finals of the Papa John's Trophy. Yeah, good evening. It's a big evening as well. It's a wet evening up in Bristol. Thankfully, we have the sanctuary of the Argyle TV studio for now, but it is a huge one for Argyle and Bristol Rovers, really. Papa John's Trophy, not always seen as the top echelon of competition, but just 2 wins from Wembley now for these two sides. Argyle looking to, they've already equalled their best ever performance in this competition. Rovers 2 times runners-up, and as recently as 2019 as well for them. Both will have eyes on the league, yes, and promotion probably for both sides as well, especially for Plymouth Argyle. But when you're this close to Wembley and this close to silverware, it's too good to turn down, isn't it? Kick-off at the Memorial Stadium, we hope, is at 7:45, but the rain there is causing a few problems. There's been some reports that it could be a later kick-off, but we'll bring you up to date with everything when we know it. And as things stand, we are going to be kicking off at 7:45. And we'll be bringing you all the team news, build-up, and a couple of interviews with some of the other new boys that have come in the door during this busy first week of the January transfer window. And helping me with all of it is the former Argyle defender, as you can see, Brian McGlinchey. Couple of wins from Wembley, 3 wins from silverware. I mean, you've got to take it seriously now, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. I think the lads who are not playing will be probably disappointed they didn't get a chance to play, because this is what you want, games like this where I think obviously the comments of Joey Barton's added a bit of spice to the game. So it's a great game to play in, and the chance for silverware, and and a chance to play at Wembley, because at this level players don't get a chance to play at Wembley very often. So great opportunity for the lads.
And it is also, you mentioned the comments from Joey Barton. We'll speak about that in a moment. But we've had 2 games already between these two sides this season. Yeah. Both been draws, always pretty highly contested. So that just adds extra spice, doesn't it?
It 100% does. I think for me, that I'm sure the manager's thinking about motivation, putting his comments up on the wall to try and get the lads going. Because that's a Sturrock thing he would have done in the past. So yeah, I think that's adds a bit of spice. I think obviously conditions as well will add to it as well, will make it even more of a good encounter. I think the suit Argyle, I think, with the fancy they play the ball on the floor. But yeah, it should be a good game.
Well, let's have a look at the team news, shall we? As I said, we'll keep you up to date with everything that is happening at Memorial Stadium. You might be able to see in some of the pictures behind us, actually, that it is pretty squally, pretty rainy up there. But for Argyle, we'll get the team up in just a moment. For Argyle, quite a few changes, but still very strong. Stephen Schumacher has gone. He's made 8 changes in total from the side that drew with Bolton. He's given full debuts to Jay Matete and to Ben Wayne. They both start this evening. Callum Wright will get another start as well, one of the other new signings. But the other players, I suppose, that kept their spots, Nigel Lonvike, he stays in. Callum Wright, as I said, he stays in. And Joe Edwards, who of course got sent off in the game late on against Bolton, he gets a chance this evening. So all in all, lots of changes, but still strong, and good to see the likes of James Bolton, Ben Waine, Jay Matete. There you go. There's a side for you. Getting a run out, Brian.
Yeah, 100%. It's good to see that Argyle have done their sort of transfer business really early, haven't they? And that's a sign that they've done their research and they know who they want and they've got who they wanted. So yeah, you're right. So it's good to get those guys minutes on the pitch and get to know their teammates, because that's something that you need to get into early and get that communication and that sort of fluidity that you want throughout the side. And as you say, Butcher back. Not Butcher back. Sorry.
James Bolton back.
Bolton back. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Bolton. He's been out for a while, so it's good to get him in. And to be fair, we've had a few injuries, haven't we, in that centre half position. So Bolton back will add to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got another player in, to be honest, in and around that centre defence area. To be honest, that's maybe an area that they could maybe look at. But yes, it's good to get him back in. And you look at the side there, and it's a strong side, really. And a good bench as well, good options from the bench.
And I suppose the strength of it, Brian, kind of epitomises what we were saying at the start, where you are now close to a final, you're close to potential silverware. It's not always a competition that does see strong teams picked, but we'll see the Bristol Rovers one in a moment. That could play in League One, that side there, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, 100%. It's when you get near the sort of near the final, you're thinking this is a chance for silverware and financial reward as well, because these clubs, they need that as well. So yeah, you can see that both managers have got that in mind. But I think yes, we want to do well on this, but I think obviously our bread and butter, we want to get promoted, and we've got an eye on the weekend as well, I guess.
And just very quickly on Jack Endicott, he's one of the under-18s that does start.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be a big boost for his confidence that it's a strong team, but he's still in there.
100%. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think that's what the manager's done brilliantly. If he feels you're good enough, he'll put you in no matter what age you are. And that, for me, gives real sort of confidence to any other younger players in the club, really, because they know if they're good enough and they work hard, they'll get that opportunity. So yeah, it's a brilliant opportunity for him. And when he has played, he's done well, hasn't he?
No, absolutely. And I'm sure Ben Waine will be licking his lips if Jack Endicott gets on his bike and starts whipping some crosses in. Rovers, let's look at their side. They've made quite a few changes as well, but are still strong. Here's their side. 6 changes from the side that beat Cambridge on the weekend, made by Joey Barton. So he's a change in goal. Ansi Ukola has started all of the Papa John's games. John Marquis comes back in. And interesting, Brian, to see that their 2 top scorers, the 2 lads that have been in incredible form in recent weeks, Aaron Collins and Josh Coburn, on the bench today.
Yeah, that's all. Again, they've got options. They can change the game if the game's it's getting away from them. They can bring those 2 on. But you look at their side as well. They've got their starting lineups, good players in there. Glenn Whelan. How long's he been around? I think he's definitely got lots of experience there. You got the lad McCormick. I think he started his career at Chelsea, didn't he? So he's got good pedigree as well. But yeah, quality players throughout both sides, isn't it? So hopefully it'll be a good game of football, and hopefully it is a good game of football, not a sort of a fight and a battle. But I'm sure Joey Barton will get his lads up for it and try and make it a battle and make it difficult for Argyle tonight. Yeah,
Glenn Whelan, 38 years of age, 39 next week.
Wow. Patrolling
that midfield area. Jay Matete up against him. Just looking at their bench as well, we were talking about we've spoken about Argyle's bench a lot this season, but Scott Sinclair's on there. They've got the two big strikers as well. I mean, Joey Barton's clearly gone strong, but he's also thinking if needs be, we've got these guys in the armoury, and we saw in the league game, the second half is when they really came into it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember back we scored 2 screamers, didn't we? Zaz and it was Randall, wasn't it? Randall, scored 2 cracking goals, and they did, and we sort of said that at half-time in the commentary. I remember saying they'll come out and they'll give it a go, and they scored an early goal and got their tails up. So, I think for me, if Argyle play to the sort of standards they've shown this year, they'll be good enough for tonight to get a result. But this will be a battle. Joey Barton will have them up free. He'll make it difficult for us, and and it's our first tie away from home in this cup. Is that right as well? So that makes it more difficult. So, but yeah, we're more than capable of getting a result.
Well, let's hear from our gaffer, shall we? Stephen Schumacher. Then he said he is really looking forward to locking horns with Bristol Rovers once again.
Last time we went there, it was a really exciting game of two halves that, again, in the second half could have gone either way. So yeah, we're expecting another tough game. They'll be desperate to win it. We're wanting to go there and give it our best because we understand there's a semi-final at stake. So yeah, it's exciting, and hopefully we put a team out there that can go on and give them a good game, get a good result for us. Yeah.
Our last couple of matches actually against Bristol Rovers have been pretty entertaining. It's obviously a quite close game for us, but it just seems like there's two sides that know what they want to do, full of confidence as well, and both of us are going into it in form this time around as well.
Yeah, definitely think the styles sort of suit. So they're in great form at the moment. Their forward players in particular are being on fire. Got two of the best performing centre forwards in the division at the moment. So if they play, we're going to have to be aware of their threats. But also we've got forward players who have all got 10 goals each. So yeah, it should be an end-to-end exciting game. We think it'll be competitive, it'll be feisty, because that's the type of game it'll be. And we're looking forward to it, and we'll be ready.
Speaking to you earlier on in this competition, group stages sort of stage, trying to predict how the other side might play, the team they might play, was quite difficult because teams do make changes, don't they? Do you expect this one to look more like a, in inverted commas, proper first team full throttle game of football because of the prize being so close, that final?
Yeah, I think so. I think the last game's a bit like that as well against Wimbledon. So I think it looked more like a first team fixture rather than a load of young lads playing. I think it's going to get more competitive the closer you get to the end prize. So yeah, I think it'll be two teams who'll be stronger probably than what the teams that played against Bristol Rovers early on in the group stage. So, and that's understandable. We're going to be stronger because we've got a few players who we've just signed that can play in the fixture because they haven't played in it this season before. So, and we've got James Bolton as well, who's coming back from injury, that needs some games. So we're going to be a bit more senior. There'll be a few young lads involved as well, but yeah, it should be a good game, and I say that's what I'm looking forward to. And going to Bristol Rovers isn't that far up the road for us, so we're taking a good few fans as well for it, which is great, and hopefully we can put on a good performance for them.
Just finally, on the new lads that can play, that haven't played in the competition already, they must be like they would have been on Saturday, but just kind of really keen to put a good performance in and kind of get started at Argyle.
Definitely, I think they need to settle in. They need to obviously get to know the teammates and figure out their strengths and what they can do. They also need some game minutes, so Callum hasn't played an awful lot of football lately, Jay hasn't either. Ben Wayne has been coming up from the other side of the world, so he had to get over jet lag and get himself going. So the minutes that they're going to get tomorrow night is it's going to be vital for us, because we need them up to speed as quick as possible, like the same level as what the rest of the squad are in at the moment, and that's good. And then James Bolton, obviously it's his first game for so long, so yeah, it's good. And that's why, again, like, I felt it was important that we did take this competition seriously. We've seen the exposure that the young players have had this season in the competition. They've stood out and done well and gained great experience, but now we're at this stage, we've got players that need minutes, and if we didn't have this fixture, then we'd have to have an in-house behind closed doors friendly, which no one really enjoys. So yeah, we'd rather go to Bristol Rovers in what's going to be a real competitive game, something on the end of it, and we'll give it our best shot.
That's Stephen Schumacher speaking to me a little earlier on this week, and he makes a good point, Brian, about wanting to do well in this competition this season, because look now, yes, we're in a quarter-final and close to a final and all that comes with that, but also James Bolton's coming back from injury. You might not want to risk him in a league game to kind of come back in. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. He's got new signings that you might not want to chuck in a league game. Yeah. This is a perfect opportunity to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. He's articulated that really well, in the sense that he's given young players an opportunity to get first-team experience, which has been brilliant, and they've got them to the stage now. And you're right, the new signings has got an opportunity for them to bed into the way he wants to play, the style of football he wants to play. So yeah, I think it's perfect, and for the injuries come back as well, it's good for them. So Yeah, I don't think there's any losers here. And he mentioned about not playing a sort of in-house game, which is just horrible as a player. You're playing against your teammate. It's not a nice thing, trust me. No player likes to do that. So to play a competitive game and is far more enjoyable.
On the new guys, Callum Wright started the game against Bolton. I thought started quite brightly. He was showing he was keen to kind of prove himself. Ben Waine, Saxon early, who can't play today because he's cup tied, and Jay Matete also came on to make their debuts. Waine and Matete in particular, I thought made quite a big impact when they came on. I know it's difficult to judge what a player's going to be like off 20 minutes or whatever, but you want to see that, don't you? When a new player comes in, them actually showing something early on. Yeah,
I think when you come on sub as well, if you can come on and make a difference, that's a good sign, because you're maybe watching the game and you're understanding where you can make a difference. So I think if you're a player and you can come on and make a difference, that's a really good sign, as I say. And I think Matete's got good experience in this level, hasn't he? He's got promoted, played with Fleetwood, so he's full of energy. He's up and down, isn't he? So he'd be great. Obviously, Wayne's an unknown quantity in the sense of coming from a different league, but from what I've seen pictures of him, he looks very fit, doesn't he? We were talking off air, weren't we? And yeah, he looks an athlete.
Yeah, that picture in particular you're talking about, if no one's seen it, go onto our Instagram page from a couple of days ago. It's him striking a ball.
Yeah.
Muscles in places I certainly didn't think I had them.
I sent it to my son saying that's the legs you need. So definitely, that Argyle have obviously done the research. They've done their work, and they know who they want, and it's interesting the type of profile of player they're going for as young, hungry players who want to come down here, part of the sort of adventure as such, and they want to improve. So yeah, it's real good business.
Yeah, we touched on it with Katie Middleton on Saturday, kind of going through the signings, and since then we've brought in another in Tyreek Wright, in from Aston Villa, again 21 years of age, attacking sort of forward, signed on a decent length contract. Mm-hmm. What have in your opinion, how good has the business been?
First of all, I think it's impressive that Argyle are spending money. From my time in the last 20 odd years I've been living down here, I've felt that that's something that we've not done. It shows real investment in infrastructure in the club now that they're able to do that. So it's brilliant to see. And I guess the bit that I've mentioned around they're young, hungry players. So if they come down here and they do really well, hopefully we get promoted to the Championship and they can evolve. But it's a type of player they've obviously got in their makeup what they want. Someone who maybe can improve, can add value and different things. So it's not a finished article as such. So it's a clever model that they're going to go through. And I think with a few injuries that the squad needed a bit of fresh impetus to maybe give them a real kick on now for the rest of the season. And you can see a bit of buzz around the fans on social media where they're really excited that Argyle have been probably the busiest of all the teams in the window so far. Yeah, it's a good sign, isn't it? We've not been known for that, have we, in the past?
No, it's a new look, and it's going down very well. Just finally on sort of team selection and going back to that point about that Stephen Schumacher made about doing well in this competition to get extra games to allow players to play. We mentioned James Bolton earlier, first game since March that he started, coming back in today. Matt Butcher's actually another one, and I know he's played a lot of games. I think he's played 30 games this season. But with Jay Matete coming in, you kind of look at it thinking, is that another player in his way? But today's the perfect opportunity again, isn't it, to just say, hang on, I'm still here. We can still do a good job.
Well, he's a permanent signing, isn't he? And Matete's is a loan signing, so any motivation for a player, they want to start. So he's got to go out tonight and say, that's my shirt, you're not getting it. And that's what the manager wants. The manager wants a headache. The manager wants to sit there on a Wednesday, Thursday night with his coaching staff and go, who am I going to play? That's what a manager. That's what you want. Those problems. So, to be honest, when everyone's fair, I wouldn't envy that. I wouldn't want to make those decisions. But that's why he's a good manager. And I guess the one thing he's done really well this year, he's been pragmatic. He's played different sort of players for different games. Like the Wickham game comes to mind, doesn't it? So, I think it's good signs.
We'll have to wait and see how they gel. Right, we'll be hearing from Jay Matete and also Tyreek Wright, our latest pilgrim, very, very shortly. A reminder that you can watch this game live on Argyle TV. It costs just £10 wherever in the world you are. You can watch it. You can find all the details on our website, pafc.co.uk. Click on the Argyle TV tab and you can see all of the details in there. Right, up next, we'll hear from Jay Matete. Don't go anywhere.
Bad ball in, good goal, Borja. Still progress into the second division.
Good evening, this is Argyle TV. We're building up to Bristol Rovers against Plymouth Argyle in the quarterfinals of the Papa John's Trophy. Brian McGlinchey is with me. We'll be hearing from Jay Matete in just a moment, one of our new signings, but I've got a quick update from the Memorial Stadium. You can probably see from some of the pictures behind us up there, top left-hand corner above Brian's head. The rain is pretty hard up in Bristol. There were covers on a little earlier on. There was a slight concern that there might be a slight delay in kickoff, but latest update that we've got from Rob McNichol, our press officer up on the scene, is that there is no update really. The ref has indicated to the managers that they don't think delaying it would make any difference. In fact, it would probably make it worse. So 7:45 is still looking like the kickoff time. Pitch doesn't look that bad. No standing water. Can't take much more water, according to the referee, but the rain is persistent, steady, but not heavy. So fingers crossed that 7:45 kickoff will be fine. We'll just have to keep an eye on the rain. If there are any more updates, we'll let you know here on Argyle TV. You can also see everything, the latest, on our socials, so you won't miss a thing. For the time being, though, we will stick to the plan. We'll hear from Jay Matete now, in the middle of midfield this evening, getting his first start. Signed on loan from Sunderland until the end of the season, and is looking forward to impressing the Green Army.
Delighted to be here. When the interest came about, it was something that grabbed my attention, and I just wanted to come through with it and join.
We talked about your journey here, coming across the north of England. Tell us a little bit about your football journey, because I believe you're a London lad, but you found yourself in Fleetwood's academy when you broke through. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
I've been playing football from young, but never in academies or anything. Just like playing on the streets and stuff. And when I was a bit older, I got an opportunity to go and try out Fleetwood and went there, and then just kept going from there.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind few years for you. So you've had a loan out at Grimsby, got back at Fleetwood and got in the team there. Tell us about those little bits to begin with, and then we'll talk about your next move after that. But what was it like, transitioning into senior football and having a bit of a loan away?
I've done a loan before. I went to Grimsby. That really helped me. Played a lot of games, and obviously the transition from 23 football to men's football is totally different. I feel like I'm used to it now anyway.
And it's been a gradual progression, because Grimsby was in League Two, wasn't it? And then some games in Fleetwood last season, and then you moved to Sunderland mid-season, and then you found yourself playing Championship this year. So it's been a real progression for you over the last couple of years. It must have felt like it's gone by really quickly. Yeah.
To be fair, it's gone quick. Going from League Two, League One, Championship. Obviously you feel the different levels and stuff, but it's all good experiences.
You played against us 3 times last season, I think. A couple of times for Fleetwood, and then once for Sunderland. Can you remember too much about those games? What were your experiences playing against Argyle?
No, always a tough team to play against. You play good football. I remember when I played you at your place, atmosphere was really, really good. I enjoyed it, and that's a bit of the reason why I came here, because you guys got a good fan base.
Back to playing for Sunderland, you've played I think 9 or 10 times this season so far for Sunderland. Weirdly, it seems like all away from home. It's a weird quirk of how you've ended up playing all your games away. Yeah. But plenty of Championship football this season. It's a good standard to play at. Have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, the game time I've got, I've enjoyed it. It's different, it's quick and stuff, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the minutes I've had.
Talk to us a little bit about why Argyle. Why have you made the choice to come with us?
obviously you guys have had a really good season so far, and it's just something I wanted to sort of join and be a part of, a real good promotion push, and hopefully help you guys get to the championship.
And some similarities with last season, because during the season last year you switched Fleetwood for Sunderland and got a promotion. So let's hope for that again, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, hopefully get the same outcome.
Is there something about playing in a winning team at this level? Obviously, you've experienced that. Do you think that's going to help yourself and for the rest of the team, the fact that you've got that experience as the season goes on?
Yeah, I know it's a great feeling getting promoted. Doing it last year is something that the fans will remember forever. So, you know, hopefully we can give them this memory.
And speaking of the fans, what can they expect from you? If you had to sum yourself up as a player, what would you say the Green Army are in for?
I'll say probably just all action, back to a bit of everything, you know. So yeah, you can expect a bit of everything.
Good chat that from Jay Matete and Rob McNichol up in the hotel in Bolton just before Saturday's game, and we'll hear from Tyreek Wright in just a moment. But Brian, on Matete, we kind of spoke about him earlier. He mentioned it in that chat there. Played against Argyle 3 times last season. Had a great game actually here against us for Sunderland. Him and Panucci Kamara had a right battle. I think he actually injured Panucci, and that was the end of him for that season. But he does add something a little bit different in the midfield that we don't have, doesn't he? A little bit more energy, bit of bite, tackler.
Yeah, he does. A lot of our midfielders are quite similar, aren't they? Houghton and Randall are very similar. Like to get the ball and keep the ball moving, move the ball from side to side, and sort of join the play up. Where probably he's going to be a bit more energy, get up and down, get in people's faces, make it difficult. So gives good options, and I think that's how he described himself, didn't he? Lots of energy and put himself about. So yeah, and that just shows you obviously the manager's doing homework when he's watching players playing against him. He's thinking if he comes available, he could be one for me type thing. So yeah, and to be honest as well, there's a bit of the sense of he's been promoted. He knows what you need to do. So in a sense that he can bring that sort of winning mentality to the squad. Not that they need it, but it can help.
They've been doing okay, haven't they?
Well, exactly.
And every little helps. In terms of your experience when you were playing, when you either moved or you saw players come into a squad, and certainly the Sturrock years, there was quite a big changeover of players season to season. How long, on average, do you reckon it does take to kind of properly settle? I mean, they're used to moving players now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Loans, etc. They kind of go in and out of clubs every other few months or something. But to properly settle, does it take long? What does it depend on?
There's lots of things it depends on. I guess if you're coming in and you're not starting and you're maybe on the bench and you're on the periphery of the team, it might be difficult because you want to play. So there's lots of factors. The factors of maybe where you're living, in a hotel, you got a flat, different things. It's the lads bringing you in, but the lads look at Argyle look a real good bunch, and they'll bring them into the sort of the bit of team spirit. So yeah, too many factors. They probably say there's this will work out, this will work out type thing. But I'm sure if he's a good pro and the club have done their work on the right type of attitude of player coming in, and he's young and he wants to play football, and I guess that's a good sign as well that he's not content sat and maybe in the first team where he's at, and he wants to come and play first team football. Again, it's a good sign of that mentality, isn't it?
One of the things that really stood out in his press that he did on Monday, speaking to Chris Errington from the Plymouth Herald, Chris asked him whether it was a tough decision to move the length of the country from Sunderland to Plymouth and come down and sign for Argyle. Tyreek's response was, it would have been a difficult decision to turn down Argyle, having seen what the club was like last season playing against them. And that is exactly what you said. That's what you want from a new signing, isn't it?
Well, 100%, yeah. And don't get me wrong, we're doing really well. I keep saying we here. I'm not part of the club anymore. But
yeah, it's all we, Brian.
but yeah, it's we're flying. We're top of the league. Why would you not want to come down here? A chance of getting lots of plaudits. You're going to be on TV now come near the end of the season because you're going for promotion. So it's a great opportunity to sort of apply your trade. So definitely great opportunities and great comments as well. And I guess he would have been speaking to Zaz, wouldn't he, about from his Aston Villa links around why, what's so good about coming down here to play football. And also I think the manager needs to get a lot of sort of praise because he seems to, they want to come play for him because he wants to maybe get the best out of young players. So lots of pluses. just got to go and now kick on.
Well, someone who's not going to play is the link up with Finn Azaz, plays with him in the Ireland under-21 side as well, and that is Tyreek Wright. He became our 5th new signing. Let's hear from him now.
Well, I grew up in Ireland, moved to the UK when I was 15, signed for Aston Villa, went on a few loans, and it's brought me to Argyle now, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, talk to me about that move, because you know, it's not a million miles away, but to make the move away from home to a different country when you are young age, 15, how big a decision was that for you?
A massive one, you know, leaving my family behind at such a young age. I was homesick a lot for the first year and a half, but I just got used to it, and yeah, I absolutely love it here now.
You mentioned the loan moves. You've had a few of them. I suppose each one you'd have developed more and more. What are the main things you think you've learnt from those spells at these different clubs?
I think just dealing with not playing in and out the squads. Obviously, my first few loans didn't go the way that I wanted them to, but it's all part of developing and learning. And you know, my most recent loan at Bradford, I think, has been my best one. And yeah, I think I was just ready to take the next step in my career. I absolutely loved my time there, but when Argyle came knocking on the door, I couldn't turn it down. You know, it's a step to the next level. So yeah, looking forward to it.
For any Argyle fan that hasn't maybe seen highlights or doesn't know too much about you, what do you think you can bring to this side?
I think I'm an exciting player. You know, I like to get the fans off their seats. I love 1v1s, take my man on, and I'm quite quick as well.
More good comments from a new signing. Always great to see. Right, we are getting closer and closer towards kickoff, just under half an hour away from a wet Memorial Stadium, but it looks as if we'll be kicking off on time. Still lots to fit in between now and then, so don't go anywhere. Well, we are just 10 days into a brand new year, 10th of January today, and it's a sort of time of year when media outlets like us look back at what 2022 was like and look forward to what 2023 could bring. And Sky Sports are no different at all. They teamed up with Not the Top 20 podcast, and they've been doing a lot of chat about what has been going on with players in the EFL. 21 players to look out for under the age of 21 for the upcoming year. And our very own Barley Mumba was one of them.
Since signing for Norwich City from Sunderland in 2020, Barley Mumba has struggled to break into the first team, although he did play 45 minutes against Manchester City in the Premier League last season. But in a loan spell at Plymouth Argyle is where he's really kicked on and become such an impressive player and has played a massive part in Argyle's incredible start to the season. Although nominally, and for the purpose of this list, he's down as a defender, Ali. You know, he's a wing-back and he's somebody whose impact is seen much further forward on the pitch.
Yeah, he's been one of the most exciting players to watch in League One this season, and that's not because of his 1v1 defending, it's because of his attacking output. He's been playing at left wing back, despite being naturally right-footed, to great effect cutting inside. But he's also played right wing back, Steven Schumacher, switching the wing backs depending on the strengths of the opposition fullbacks. And Mumba's an extreme ball carrier, really good 1v1 ability in wide areas, very agile, got great balance, and very, very technical as well, which I think comes from growing up as a midfielder in Sunderland's academy. What I like most about him is that when he has beaten a man, when he gets into dangerous areas, he always seems to make, A, the right decision to cross, pass or shoot, but also has pretty good execution on those. A really solid technical player and very composed in the final moment. He's also got an eye for the spectacular. 2 brilliant goals in particular, both live on Sky this season. A player for the big moment. It's fair to say he needs to keep working very, very hard defensively if he wants to establish himself at the very top of the English game. I still think for any team that plays a really front-foot attacking style with attacking fullbacks or certainly with wing-backs, Mumba could easily have an impact in the Championship right now. Weighing it up with recall to Norwich or staying at Argyle, I still think he'd be better suited continuing to develop and hopefully succeeding promotion in the second half of the season with Argyle. But great fun to watch, Bali Mumba.
Argyle fans certainly agree.
He's had a great season, hasn't he, Brian? Bali Mumba. Interesting that Josh Coburn was also on that list for Bristol Rovers, and Middlesbrough obviously on loan. But I mean, this is how loans work. This has worked perfectly for everybody involved, hasn't it? Bali Mumba's one.
Yeah, he's been immense, hasn't he? I think he was signed as to play on the right side initially, wasn't he? But obviously injuries to on the left-hand side has given him that opportunity, and he's looked unbelievable. For me, for a wing-back to get forward and score as many goals and assists that he's done is just superb. Real good player, and yeah, I'm sure the guy in the commentary said Argyle fans will be happy that he's staying. We are definitely most happy to see him staying.
Don't think we could take Whittaker.
No, that would be a massive blow.
Let's not think about it.
No, let's not.
Give us nightmares. Anyway, we're getting closer to kick-off at the Memorial Stadium, quarter-finals of the Papa John's Trophy up against Bristol Rovers. Let's remind ourselves of today's team news, this evening's team news. We'll start with Argyle, and they've made 8 changes, Steven Schumacher, to the side. Just a few keeping their spot. Nigel Lonvike, Joe Edwards and Callum Wright staying in the side from Saturday. Means that James Bolton comes back in from the start for a game since March, that lost at Ipswich where he got injured at the back end of last season. And there are full debuts for Ben Waine and Jay Matete as well. A couple of youngsters on the bench for Argyle. Who are you looking forward to seeing from that side, Brian?
Waine for me. I want to see what he's like. I want to see what he's going to give different from the sort of higher up the pitch positions. I know what I'll get from Matete. I think we'll see lots of energy. Wright as well. I want to see what he can bring. Obviously a bit of flair, and speaking to people that are sort of know in the game, he thinks he's a really good footballer as well. So yeah, and yeah, just to see how obviously the newcomers in the side, how they adapt, how they sort of play to the sort of Schumacher style and what they bring to the team. And as I said, giving the manager a headache for a big game of the weekend.
Jack Endicott there, as you can see, staying in the side. Callum Burton continuing in goal as well. I think if it goes to penalties, we're in safe hands, literally, with Callum Burton. And reminder that if it is a draw at 90 minutes, it will go straight to penalties. Let's have a look at the Bristol Rovers lineup. They've also made changes from their game on the weekend. They got a 2-1 win over Cambridge United. Joey Barton has made 6 changes from that side. Like Argyle, they have a Papa John's Trophy keeper. Ansi Yakola comes in for James Belshaw in goal. The big news, I suppose, for them is that their 2 top scorers, Josh Coburn and Aaron Collins, on the bench, Brian. But Ryan Loft scored in the first game here. He's got 5 this season, and John Marquis has been there, done it. It's not as if they're weakening too much by having those 2 up front.
Marquis, he's over 6 foot, and he's going to put a bit of a unit, isn't he? So he's going to put himself about. We've talked about the experience of Whelan in there. McCormick's a decent footballer as well. So yeah, they've got a good side. But you're right, their bench. Look at the options they've got up front: Sinclair, Coburn, and Collins up front. So they've got really good options as well. But so have we. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how the game goes.
Interesting to see how Argyle's defence to cope with Bristol Rovers. We did the game in the league up there in October, 2-0 in front, looking good. Coburn came off the bench. And Bristol Rovers were a completely different animal. And to be honest, we did well to come out with a draw, I thought, from that game.
Yeah, we did. First half, we thought we played really well. I think, remember back, I think Houghton had a tremendous game in the middle of the park. I thought he played really well. But yeah, you're going to go away from home. Joey Barton's side is going to react, aren't they? After 2-0 down, you expect a reaction. So you expect his team to come out flying today. And obviously he wants to do well and get to Wembley as well. So he's going to be his team fired up for this. So it's about us just sort of weathering the storm a little bit and just getting down to play football. Forget all that rubbish and just get the ball down and play. Which if we do that, I think we've got a great chance.
Yeah, you imagine the game will be like that then?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the conditions as well, being the way, obviously the wet pitch and making it difficult, he'll try and get in people's faces, make it difficult. And but we'll see. I'm sure the Argyle lads will have encountered many experiences like that in their career, so they'll be able to deal with it.
There is obviously a big game coming up in just a few days' time in the league. Ipswich Town away on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then, we're only in January, but it feels like a big game. Two of the three sides that are clear at the top of the table. Do you think there'll be any eye from any of the players on that game, or even the coaching staff, just thinking, we need to be absolutely at it against Ipswich?
I think he would have thought about it on his team selection, and he obviously has with the changes he's made, hasn't he? But I don't think once they're in the occasion and they're in the match, I don't think any footballer thinks about the game on the Saturday. They really don't. They can't afford to, because you're in the moment. You have to be concentrated, and it's such a great opportunity to get to Wembley. As I said, like in my career, you get there once maybe in your career, so it's a great opportunity for these players to get there and make it happen, and it's there. You can grasp it. So for me, no, I don't think they will. I think, yes, the staff will be thinking about it because you've got a plan ahead. But once you get down to the game day, I don't think that happens.
And I suppose it's an exciting thing, isn't it? That you've got games coming thick and fast. You've played a big game at Bolton on the weekend. You've got a quarter-final today. You've got one of your biggest rivals in Ipswich on Saturday. But this is what you want to be in. If you didn't have thoughts ahead to a big game in the league because you're in a cup quarter-final, it means you haven't done very well in your season.
No.
So and Argyle have done so well.
And that's one of the things that people probably don't understand with football, in the sense if you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, you've got to get yourself ready. You've got to get into games with injury, so it's difficult for a footballer, but that's what you want. If you're a successful side, you're playing Saturday, midweek Saturday, you've got these challenges, and they're good challenges to have. But the great benefit of this tournament, this cup, is it's giving young players vital first team experience. And for me, that's brilliant for this club, because yes, we want to get promoted and we want to do really well, but we also want to have a sort of structure where you're giving young players a chance. And for me, that's what Argyle need to do, and they've done that really well in the last couple of years.
Absolutely have. And we mentioned Jack Endicott, Oscar Halls on the bench with Freddie Saka and Caleb Roberts. Roberts, Halls and Will Jenkins-Davis all scored their first goals for the club in this competition. Even if Argyle were to go out today, you can look back on it and say there were big successes. Yeah,
100%. I think any job description for an Argyle manager is, yes, 100% the first team's first and foremost, but a big part of his job is to promote from within. Maybe we don't have to sign players in the future because we've got good young players coming through, and that's what it's all about, really. So I think that balance is really, really crucial. So yeah, definite plus for this tournament for us.
Well, let's see the other games that are being played tonight in the Papa John's Trophy. Argyle's one of 4 quarter-finals that are taking place today. There you can see the other ones. Lincoln against Accrington, Bolton up against Portsmouth. They actually play each other on Saturday in the league as well, in a weird quirk. And Cheltenham against Salford City. Looking at that as well, Brian, the teams that are left in it, yes, the maybe big boys, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, Derby, aren't in it anymore. But out of the 8 sides left in, 7 of them are from League One. Yeah. So it kind of is going to form in a way.
Yeah, well, it is. I wouldn't get ahead of ourselves. I think we've got to win tonight and then think about who we're playing next, because football's got a cruel habit of kicking you in the teeth when you're thinking about future games. But yeah, you're right. There's no teams there that scare me. I think if Argyle get through, then they've got a great opportunity to get to a final. So so all to play for. Lots of exciting. It was an exciting game tonight, but yeah, great opportunity.
Well, that's pretty much it from us. Just looking at the pictures from the Memorial Stadium again over Brian's head. A referee there, camera trained on him, walking around. We have had no extra information as to whether the game will be delayed even more or not. So we're thinking it's going to be a 7:45 kickoff, which is only 15 minutes away. So Brian and I need to get ready for commentary. We'll be bringing you full match commentary from the Memorial Stadium. You can stream it wherever you are in the world for just £10. Go onto our website, pafc.co.uk. Click on the Argyle TV tab, and you can see all of the details there on how to buy your stream. So, can Argyle do something that they've never done before and get to the semi-finals of the Papa John's Trophy? We're going to find out in the next hour or so, because Rovers against Argyle is coming up next.